Hey then, welcome everyone. I'm back today to give you some tips on how to play Wraith. So let's get into it, shall we? So first up we have Wraith's perks. And the first perk is Predator. And what that does is it shrinks the area of the scratch marks to a smaller area so you can easily follow them from a distance and that. Instead of them being like all wide and all over the place, they've been shrunk down to a smaller area. So they're easier to follow. And the second perk is Bloodhound. And what this perk does, it makes the pools of blood that survivors leave behind once they're injured much more visible, and they can be tracked for up to 4 seconds longer than normal. So if a survivor stops running, they leave no scratch marks, but you'll still be able to follow the pools of blood much easier with this perk, so it can be quite handy. And the third and final perk is Shadowborn, and what this does is it increases your field of view by up to 15 degrees, which can be quite handy. So let's move on to Wraith's power, shall we? So what Wraith's power is that you can turn invisible, and what that does, it makes you undetectable, so you won't have any terror radius or red stain, so it will help you sneak up on survivors. And you also get a speed boost when invisible, just to help you to speed up a bit. But when you do want to become visible again, you will have to ring your bell, and that does slow you down quite a bit. So the speeding up and the slowing down sort of cancels each other out. If you do need to travel across the map, I would encourage you to be invisible just to help get across the map much faster. Because when you were just walking normally, you move at 4.6 meters per second, but while you were cloaked, you move at 6 meters per second. So you do move quite a bit faster while invisible, and while uncloaking, you move at 1.6 meters per second. So you do slow down quite a bit too while uncloaking, but while you uncloak, you do get a speed boost for like a second or two. Once you've uncloaked, you do get a speed boost up to 6.9 meters per second in order just to speed up and catch up to survivors. And once you have also uncloaked, if you do go for a swing, you'll also lunge forwards much further with that speed boost, so it can come in handy to go for the swing before you slow down again once uncloaking, because you can go forwards much quicker and much further. So yes, that is also something to remember. And also, when you're invisible, you do have to be careful for survivors with flashlights, because if you are invisible and a survivor puts a flashlight on you, they don't even have to blind you, but if they shine it on you for 2 seconds, then they can stun you, just like a pallet stun or anything, and then you will become visible again, and then they have a chance to get away. So do be careful with survivors with flashlights when they do try to stun you in that. But I think the easiest way to get around that is if there's something in front of you or something that you can hide behind, I would suggest hiding behind that, or actually getting up close to them if you can, and then just like try to walk around them, because the closer you get, then it will be harder to get the torch on you as you're walking around, because the further you're away, the wider the beam is, so the easier it is to stun you, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe that's true. So yes, do try to stay out of any flashlights when uncloaking or anything, because it does take you 3 seconds to uncloak, but it's taking them 2 seconds to stun you. So there is a second there where it matters. And also, Wraith is also really handy against people who camp pallets or just like around small loops and that, because you can easily just cloak and then go to uncloak, go around the corner, go for the swing with the extra speed, and probably just hit them or even down them, and maybe even push them away from that in order to down them much easier. So your small loops can be countered relatively easy with Wraith's speed boost once uncloaking, so do remember that. And also do be careful of pallets, because sometimes survivors do stand just in pallets waiting for you to uncloak to waste your speed boost, so and then they have extra time to get away in that. So do be careful of that. You can trick them in order to make them throw down the pallet while you're still invisible, so then all you have to do is break it, then go after them again. And also a little bonus tip for those of you who made it to the end: so when you're invisible and you get stunned by a pallet, it takes you much longer to recover than if you weren't invisible and get stunned by a pallet. Then try to take a swing for the person rather than just staying behind them and chasing them around a pallet or a loop or something like that. So do be wary of pallets when invisible. But hopefully these tips helped you out and helped you to play Wraith better. And if they did, feel free to like the video and subscribe for more Dead by Daylight character tutorials and that. on how to do better with Survivor or Killer, or even how to play against the killers. So feel free to come and follow me on my Twitch channel. I'll link it down below. And I'll be back next week with another DBD video on how to counter Wraith. So feel free to watch out for that. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, morning, or whatever time it is for you. Bye!